Hey, Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan, Donald Trump Jr.
Harsh to win, see you. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuels Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuels Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics. Follow on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. Here is your host, Ryan Samuels.
Hello, Patriots. What a great day to be an American. Fannie Willis has gotten spanked again for the last time. She is done. She has officially been removed from the case where they are persecuting Donald Trump for election interference in Georgia, which is nonsense. Now, we covered this pretty extensively when it originally happened. The case is nonsense. It's completely bogus. They have really nothing to go on. Then it turns out that she hired a special prosecutor and is paying them with all the donations she's getting from campaign funds. And they're sleeping with each other. They're going on lavish vacations. She's paying him hundreds of thousands of dollars in fake consulting fees from the city. It went to a board of appeals and it was removed. Listen to me. This is why our public officials are morons. They're idiots. You have Fannie Willis, who clearly a DEI hire. You get to the position where you're the district attorney in Georgia. You go after a former president while you're banging somebody who's working for you and misappropriating departmental funds and using them, stealing money from taxpayers and going on lavish vacations. What are you doing? What are you doing? If you go after Donald Trump, they're going to be looking at you with a microscope, obviously, but no, because you're a low IQ person, and this is where we are. So we're going to cover this, what the ruling means, the complete and utter meltdown from CNN, losing their minds, and they're losing their business as well. However, don't forget, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Do not forget to follow for more content. Go to buymeacoffee.com/Ryan F. Samuels. You can buy a coffee for $5 and donate to the show. Head to RyanFSamuels.com and sign up for our newsletter. You guys are doing a great job with that. We have plenty of people signing up, and we're going to have a big, major announcement that only the subscribers, it's free to sign up for the newsletter on our website. Absolutely free. And there's going to be a major surprise for all of you coming for after the first of the year. So we're going to cover this in depth. I got some really good videos. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. The best thing in life that you can do always is to be prepared. Be prepared for anything with My Patriot Supply, the leading provider of high-quality, long-shelf-life emergency food kits designed to empower you and your family to stay self-sufficient during any crisis, ensuring your safety and freedom when it matters most. Be self-reliant with high-quality, long-lasting emergency food in your pantry. My Patriot Supply has a variety of options and is always American made. Don't be caught unprepared. Stock your pantry with My Patriot Supply's emergency food kits, providing nutritious meals for weeks. And even when disaster strikes, you cannot rely on society in an emergency crisis. Get your 3-month supply kit right now by clicking the link in the description or scanning that QR code on this screen. So let's listen to this clip from CNN.
We begin this hour with breaking news just into CNN. The Georgia prosecutor leading the state's election interference case against President-elect Donald Trump is now disqualified. CNN's Caitlin Polance is here with more. Caitlin, what can you tell us about this? This is just coming in the last several minutes. This is a big development.
A big development, and a big development that Donald Trump has wanted for a long time. That case against him in Georgia, the criminal case where it's accusing him and several others of a racketeering conspiracy related to the 2020 election, it's already been paused. Now it's not even backburnered. This is a case that will be dead in the water because the Georgia Court of Appeals is now saying that Fannie Willis, the leader of the prosecution against Donald Trump, the district attorney in Fulton County, Georgia, she should be disqualified from being able to bring that case. The Georgia Court of Appeals is saying that it's a significant appearance of impropriety caused by the conduct of a public prosecutor. That is Willis, how she behaved, how she was speaking about the case, about Trump publicly, about how she was having a relationship with the top prosecutor that was concealed in this, a man named Nathan Wade. All of that, previously, the trial level judge had looked at and said, Fannie Willis can stay on this case. We're not dismissing the indictment. But the Court of Appeals is now taking another look and saying, no, the trial judge was wrong. Fannie Willis should be disqualified from continuing to lead this case. It would be a long process, or it will be a long process, to replace her, which is why I say this case is dead in the water now without Fannie Willis, the person who was leading this case against Donald Trump in Fulton County. And just to keep tabs on how many cases there are against Donald Trump criminally, the other two in federal court, January 6th, and classified documents, those are dismissed. And then the additional case in New York City where he was set to be sentenced, that sentencing is now not happening. So as Donald Trump enters the presidency, each of these courts that is handling a criminal case is essentially removing that issue from him to have to deal with in any period of time in the near future.
So much winning. I'm not even tired of all of this winning. I want to keep winning. We won again today. Donald Trump came out and said, after we talked about yesterday about what Congress was trying to do, they were trying to sneak in raises and do all this stuff in the budget bill. Donald Trump came out and said, any Republican who votes yes for this bill, I am going to find a candidate and run them against you. You will vote no on this bill, or you will run the risk of not being in Congress. That's exactly what we need. And guess what's happening? It's looking like it's dead in the water. But there's one thing that CNN reporter left out of that report conveniently from the appeals court is that not only did she act with impropriety, but that she specifically targeted Donald Trump and it wasn't justified. So yeah, that case is done. They're saying, oh, the charges weren't dropped. Well, guess what? They're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to go anywhere. This is the biggest political comeback in American history, and Donald Trump is back on top with a majority of support from the American people. Fannie Willis, her career is done, dead, as it should be. Alvin Bragg should be next.
Larry, we got some breaking news. Got to get to Fulton County, Georgia. And here we go. A Georgia Court of Appeals has disqualified the Fulton County DA, Fannie Willis, from that election interference case. It's coming down right now. The case against Trump and more than a dozen others already largely stalled, as you know. The new ruling means that it will be up to the prosecuting attorney's council in the state of Georgia to find another prosecutor to decide on the case, to take it over and make a decision as to whether or not they continue with a prosecution of the incoming president. Larry.
Well, the answer to that is going to be a no. They're not going to prosecute the incoming president or the outgoing president. This whole thing is completely justified. It's completely warranted. This is a major win, guys and girls. You should be celebrating. This is massive. This was the last case that was kind of really hanging out there, and it really exposes the lawfare of the Democrats. The appeals court said, no, what are you doing? You cannot do this. Judge Janine came out and made an announcement. Again, I haven't listened to it. She's great. I love her. She did a promo for my buddies at the Don't Unfriend Me show. Listen to this.
So the Georgia Court of Appeals has removed Fannie Willis and her office from the prosecution of Donald Trump and 18 co-defendants, saying that their behavior inappropriately affected the indictment, and they can no longer represent the state of Georgia or the people in this case against Donald Trump and 18 co-defendants. The Court of Appeals took great pains to describe the fraud that both Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade used in alleging that they did not have an affair until after they started working together, and the exorbitant amount of money, $654,000, that Fannie Willis paid Nathan Wade, a guy who had never tried a felony case in his life, to be in charge of a very complicated RICO case. And that money was used for extravagant gifts and vacations for the two of them. Folks, this is not how the criminal justice system works. This is not how DAs behave. And the arrogance that the two of them showed as this case was unfolding and being torn apart was incredible to people like myself who would never dream of doing anything like this. So it's about time. They were both removed from the case. She will never be able to prosecute Donald Trump. And the court took a very extreme measure here because their behavior was outrageous and political.
Yes. And understand that she's talking about she paid Nathan Wade $654,000 to assist her in prosecuting Donald Trump, and then he used that money to pay for vacations, expensive clothing, and so essentially it was laundering. All right, I'm going to pay you $600,000. You're going to give me back $200,000. That's it. And it was she should be disbarred. She should be removed. And that may be a possibility. She may very well get disbarred, and I'm sure there's going to be a complaint with the state bar of Georgia, and she may very well be disbarred. She shouldn't just not be able to try Donald Trump again. She should never be able to try anybody again. She's a joke. She's got the IQ of an Italian sausage. Here is a piece of the order from the Supreme Court. After carefully considering the trial court's finding in its orders, we conclude that it erred by failing to disqualify D.A. Willis and her office. The remedy crafted by the trial court to prevent an ongoing appearance of impropriety did nothing to address the appearance of impropriety that existed at times when D.A. Willis was exercising her broad pretrial discretion about who to prosecute and what charges to bring. While we recognize that an appearance of impropriety generally is not enough to support disqualification, this is the rare case in which disqualification is mandated and no other remedy will suffice to restore public confidence in the integrity of these proceedings. So there's nothing else that can be done to restore the confidence of the people in the area than to disqualify Fannie Willis. So this is cause for total celebration. Let's celebrate just real quick.
Now I say she a boat rigger, but fatty only make my lead bigger. Now I say she a boat rigger, but fatty only make my lead bigger. Get down, girl, go ahead, get down. 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 Fanny the thought always at the beauty salon with a baby Louis Vuitton under her underarm. She said, talk to.
Yeah. Thank you, Fanny. You are a disgrace to the public. You're a disgrace to the American people. You should be ashamed of yourself. Your family should be embarrassed by you and who you are and what you represent. You have totally disgraced the trust of the American people. Totally disgraced. Here is another clip from the ruling. Defendants argue that the financial arrangement created an incentive to prolong the case, but in fact, there is no indication the district attorney is interested in delaying anything. Indeed, the record is quite to the contrary. Before the relationship came to light, the state requested that trial begin less than 6 months after the incident. Soon thereafter, the state opposed severance, and objecting defendants did not demand their statutory right to a speedy trial. The state argued that it only wanted to try the case once, assuming that such a trial would have affirmed after any necessary post-conviction appeals. The state amended its proposed timeline on November 2023 to request that the trial commence less than 1 year after the return of the indictment. And even before the indictment, the district attorney approved a grand jury presentment that included fewer defendants than the special purpose grand jury recommended. In sum, the district attorney has not in any way acted in conformance with the theory that she arranged a financial scheme to enrich herself or endear herself to Wade by extending the duration of this prosecution or engaging in excessive litigation. Just insane. And you know what's scary? You know the scariest thing about all of this? The scariest thing about all of this is that these people were in power and had the power to do it. How many people? Think about this. This puts all of her convictions in jeopardy, Fannie Willis, because she's proven to act in impropriety in an illegal manner, in an unethical manner, in this case, to the point where an appeals court removed her from it. So that sets a precedence. When all of these people that were convicted, that she tried and had convicted, now all of a sudden they go to the Supreme, they appeal and say, hey, Fannie's a criminal. Fannie was wrong. Fannie's improper, and she did the same thing in my trial. Guess how many cases are going to get overturned? Watch. Here's Leo Tyrell.
Hi, Leo 2.0 here, big-time Trump supporter, December 19th, 2024. I'm very happy President Trump is going to be our next president. But I have great news for MAGA and for America and for the rule of law. Fannie Willis has been removed as prosecutor in the case against President Trump. That ridiculous Georgia case where Fannie Willis brought these frivolous RICO charges against Trump. She's been removed by the Georgia appellate court. She's been kicked off the case. She is no longer involved in the case. You know what that tells you? It tells you that the rule of law will eventually prevail. Fannie Willis filed those charges against Trump for political reasons. She met with the White House officials, and I will tell you right now, give me a chance to investigate Fannie Willis, and I want her to confess that she was motivated to bring these ridiculous charges against Trump by the White House. Every Democrat tried to stop President Trump from running for office. They failed. President Trump is now our next president. And there is going to be price to pay for those who participated in election interference. For those who basically filed frivolous lawsuits. For those who created frivolous charges. Do you hear me, Liz Cheney? Do you hear me, Letitia James? Do you hear me, Alvin Bragg? Do you hear me, Jack Smith? You better lawyer up right now.
Hell yeah.
God bless America. God bless President Trump. God bless you.
Hell yeah. They better lawyer up. And dude, I really hope that he uses every power that he has as the president of the United States and just destroys the lives of all of these people who have just ruined Donald Trump, ruined his reputation, made people hate him. I mean, he came out on top in the end anyway. Laura Loomer, who is fun to watch, found Fannie outside after the ruling, and let's listen to this.
Hey, Fannie. How come you haven't complied with the Judiciary Committee's request for your communications with the January 6th committee? Did Joe Biden promise you a position at the DOJ during his second administration?
That's her boyfriend pushing the camera away.
Are you going to be ordering Grey Goose tonight, paying in cash? You say that Donald Trump is violating the law, but you haven't even sent your communications with the J6 committee that was requested by the Judiciary Committee.
Good morning, Congressman Thompson.
Pretty funny how nobody is above the law except for Fannie, or anybody who's saying that. Anybody who's sitting there saying that nobody is above the law, and they're lying. They're lying. Insanity. Here is Trump's lawyer. It looks like this is one of her arguments. Let's just listen to this.
There's one of the other things I did was I did open records for the White House access, and we had records that Ms. Willis and the mayor of Atlanta were at meeting with the vice president.
Okay, and so this is the access history. How does that work? The White House keeps records of anybody that comes in and has any kind of official meeting, for sure?
Yes, and my understanding is it's highly regulated who can access the White House, and so you have to apply in person or apply ahead of time, and then they give you a time when you make the appointment, and they give you a time when you're allowed to be in and when you have to be out by, and they track you. And I mean, that makes sense. They don't want anybody lingering in the White House, but they keep that, and so they're called wave records, I believe is what they're called, and I'm not sure what that's an acronym for, but they're publicly available. They're open records.
And this record that's shown on the screen shows Fannie Willis was a visitor with V. POTUS. I presume that's Vice President of the United States.
Yes, it was.
So Fannie went, the Fulton County District Attorney met with Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States, and then decided to go after Donald Trump. Come on. Are you kidding me? How many county, little county DAs are meeting with the Vice President or President of the United States? And then you just happened to go out and prosecute the person who is their sworn enemy? Really?
And what was the date of that back in, was that February sometime of 23?
February 28, 2023.
Is that before the indictment?
Yes.
Okay. Any further explanation of why Ms. Willis was meeting with the Vice President of the United States?
No. I know Dexter Bonds, and I believe that's the same one that Mr. I think it's Dixon, the mayor of Atlanta, was also there.
Okay.
The mayor of Atlanta.
We're going to take a short break. We've been going at this for a while. Let's take a somewhere between 5 and 10 minute recess, and we'll be back.
I hope Fannie Willis ends up in federal prison. This is like the Teapot Dome scandal. It's amazing. This is Fannie. If you remember Fannie, when she had to take the stand when they found out about this affair and all of the lying and all the money spending. This is her on the stand, and she's just a maniac.
But I always have cash at the house. That has been, I don't know, all my life.
So she's making they're asking her, hey, where are you getting all these money? Like, you're going on all these lavish vacations, cruises, the Bahamas. Where are you paying all this from? Oh, I just have cash at the house.
If you're a woman and you go on a date with a man, you better have $200 in your pocket. So if that man acts up, you can go where you want to go. So I keep cash in my house, and I don't keep cash as good in my purse like I used to. Because I don't go on many dates, but when you go on a date, you should have cash in your pocket.
So my question was, where did that cash originally come from, if it didn't come out of the bank?
Cash is fungible. I've had cash for years in my house. So for me to tell you the source of when it comes from, when you go to Publix and you buy something, you get $50, you throw it in there. It's been my whole life. When I took out a large amount of money on my first campaign, I kept some of the cash of that. Like, to tell you, I just have cash in my house. I don't have as much today as I would normally have, but I'm building back up now. So you just put money in. It's a very good practice. I would advise it to all women.
So you can't identify when you came into this cash or where the cash came from?
I didn't say I couldn't identify it. No.
Yes, you did. That's exactly what you just said.
Nobody gives me anything.
Bull
I am sure that
crap.
the source of the money is always the work, sweat, and tears of me. What you asked me for is, when did the money go in there? What I am trying to tell you is, so I got divorced in 2005 from my husband.
Oh, I wonder why.
No. It's important. You said, where did the money come from? And I need to tell you where the money came from. And so for many, many years, I have kept money in my house. That money in my worst days has probably only been $500 or $1,000. At my best days, I probably had $15,000 in my house at cash. At all times, there's going to be cash in my house or wherever I'm laying my head.
The money that you paid Mr. Wade, the cash, in October of 2022, you do not know where that money came from.
I do know where it came from. It came from my sweat and tears.
You know which job it came from. Did it come from Fulton County or did it come from a private job?
It came from, what are you talking about? So it could have come from a private job, because before I was DA, I was in private practice. So I earned money during that time period that's probably in there.
So she went and asked for additional budgetary money. She needed a higher budget. So for those 55 people, she went and asked for more money because she didn't have enough money. And once she was awarded that, it's her position now that she can spend that money however she wants.
Doesn't have to use it for 55 new staff. She can use it for Special Attorney General.
Yes.
Not Attorney General,
Special
DA.
counsel.
Okay,
Right.
counsel.
Yes. Essentially, that is their argument in their reply briefs that they filed in court, that they have inherent authority. They don't have to comply with the county ordinances, don't have to comply with the statute.
So they don't have to comply with our state statute.
That they have, once they're awarded the budget, they can use that budget however. I mean, how their motion, and I'm happy to send the motion, it's public record, but how their motion argued it was, if they get $5 million, they can pay that to one person if they want, as long as because the voters authorized her to do that. So the county, their position is the county authorizes a budget, and she can pretty much has inherent authority to do it however.
So, just so you understand this, Fannie Willis falsely went to the city and said, hey, I need more money. I need to hire more staff. We need 55 people. So 55 people is going to cost X amount of money. I need this, I need that, I need blah, 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 blah. The city budgeting office or the mayor's office, whoever, they go, yeah, no problem. We'll get you that money. If you really need that for 55 people, we will get you that money. And she turns around and takes the money for 55 people and gives it to one person, which is Nathan Wade, her boyfriend, who then takes her on all of these lavish trips that she apparently paid for with cash that she has no idea where it came from. This should be more than being removed from the case. This should be a complete audit from the IRS, investigation from the FBI. She should go to federal prison. This is money laundering. She stole money from the city. Then she turns around and people call her out on it and says, hey, this is a state statute that you have to use this money for this reason. This is a city ordinance that you have to use this money for the reason that you originally requested it. And her answer is turns around and says, nah, screw you. Screw you. I don't have to do that. No, I can use it however I want to because the people gave me that power when they voted me in. I don't have to abide by the state law. By saying, I, Fannie Willis, am above the law. That's literally what she's saying in that statement.
Even though she specifically asked for the money to prosecute backlogged homicide cases in Atlanta.
Yes.
Okay. What's your opinion on that? You think the statute or county procedures permit that?
No, I do not. And I cited several different county County ordinances. So when I read the statute, when I read 15-1820, and it makes sense, it makes sense intuitively. As lawyers, when we bill, someone is reviewing our bills. I mean, that's just, that's the process. If you're in private practice, your client authorizes your bills. If you're doing public defense, which I've done public defense, I've done appointed work, the governing agency approves my bills, and they will cut them. They will regularly cut them if they're too high. And so there's always some type of budgetary authority that's reviewing everything. So I thought it was very strange that in this case there isn't one, and that there's really no oversight, because it is public money. So I know that it's an elected official, but it's still public money. And I don't live in Fulton County, so.
Yes, it's public money, which means the official doesn't own it. The public who pays the taxes owns it. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Do you think Fannie Willis should go to federal prison? I want to know your opinion. Write it into the show. Text it in. It's in the description. Click on the button. You could text it in. Yes, Fannie Willis should go to prison. Yes, Fannie Willis should go to prison. Or yes. You have three options. Yes, 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 or yes. If you say no, let me know. I want to know if there's anybody out there who thinks that Fannie Willis, this criminal, should not go to prison. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Don't forget, follow this channel. If you're on the podcast, hit that download button, and I will see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to The Ryan Samuels Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.